Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see on the screen, now we are going to hear from Mr. NASSER TURK. In fact, Isabel's referred to NASSER from WATG a short while earlier about several projects that they once worked together and collaborated to get done. So when I asked NASSER at the beginning of the day, why should the audience listen to you? What is it that you're going to bring to the table that the audience should sit up and take notice? And NASSER told me that, look, I'm going to be talking about several projects, innovative projects, but more importantly, what is it that made those projects innovative? And how we can use that principle in our upcoming and ongoing projects. So without any further delay from me, Mr. NASSER, we all want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Sunny. Okay, so I'm going to take a little fun approach to this. I'm with WATG. We're a full-service design firm. We do master planning, landscape architecture, interior design, and strategy. So basically, we're a company that's been around a very long time, which I'll get into. But what we're really, our basis is hospitality design. That's how we started. But it's all about innovation. And innovation comes with collaborative teamwork. It comes with many, many elements. But it comes with taking risk. It comes with trying new things, and it comes with bringing the kid out of us, because that's where, you know, you see kids, if your own kids, your nieces, nephews, you see they'll come up with the craziest ideas, and you look at them and you go, wow, where'd that come from? But this is what we are really all about, and how we could actually thrive on new ideas and becoming more and more innovative. I don't have the clicker. So, innovation. Today, we've seen, it's been really great hearing all the other speakers and all the innovative ideas that they've had, bringing new things to the table, challenging the existing ideas of today and yesterday and so forth. And I did a little bit of research on the newest innovations for 2016. I came across new drones. Again, you know, drones they keep improving on them. There's new innovations for them. The same thing, now they're coming out with the curved monitors for your computers, which I'm sure all the computer designers here, we're going to love that stuff, because from the standpoint now, we thought it was just in TVs, and now it's coming to the computers. They keep changing. We look at other, Apple, of course. I mean, we don't have to say enough about their innovation and their take on everything that they've done to change the world. Uber. I mean, become a multi-billion-dollar company, and they just keep growing it and finding another way to be innovative and create new things for users. Airbnb, another aspect, something new to the industry, not just our industry, but us as users and us as people that experience different things on all different levels, from, you know, the smallest thing a device in your hand, to Mastar City, which is the next big thing in a sustainable city. How it happens. These are the three of the original founders of WATG, which essentially stands for Wimberley, Allison, Tong, and Gu. The original founders, 70 years ago in Hawaii, that started. 1945, a couple guys, friends came together, started in Hawaii, and then 70 years later, you see we're here today. And basically now, as far as innovating, we're always thinking of something new. I'm taking a blast in the past. I'm sure you guys are familiar with these photo albums. We don't really have them anymore because everyone doesn't take the time to do that. They just post it on Facebook using the innovation, but kind of taking a step back and looking at what WATG as a firm has brought innovative ideas. And we'll start. You think of today, you think of great experiences as a tourist and so forth, having a unit and staying in a unit over the water. I mean, even till today, we could sit here and go, wow, that is really something amazing, and it would be a wonderful experience to have. This was first done in Hotel Bora Bora in 1961. We're talking over 50 years ago. So something that even today still seems very innovative and some new thinking to us, we actually did for the first time in 1961. Then we move to the Palace of the Lost City. I haven't personally visited this place, but it's been in movies. You've seen it. It's really, really well known, and the detail and the time that it took to do this. This was the basis of the start of a story. This whole design started from the story of the tale of the lost city, and maybe some of you are familiar, but just the standpoint of how this story begins, and from just the nugget of a story and how that evolves into the whole design of the arrival, when you arrive to the lobby, how you experience the whole site, how every detail from the domes, from all the towers, and each experience as you go through the hotel. This is something that was taken to the next level and really never had been done. And on top of that, since it's an innovative idea and taking that whole story of place, it was also done in 32 months from start of design to opening date, which even today, this was 1992, even today, anyone would know as a designer, an operator, a developer, that is a challenge. And at the scale and the detail level of this project, it was really a world-class project. Then we'll move back into the US, into Las Vegas. The Venetian Resort, this is not because I work for WATG, but I went there even beforehand. This is one of my favorite resorts in Vegas. Again, it's very themed, but the theming is done right, and I think that's a key detail. There's a lot of research, a lot of study, a lot of time, and a lot of commitment and teamwork that has to be done in order to take something that is thematic and make it into something that is real and doesn't look, if you want to say, hokey in a sense. So I think there's a lot of innovation and time that has to be put into that. This was basically, the hotel is the hotel. It's very beautiful. But when you get to the retail space and start experiencing the public spaces, this is where it really changes. The study of the Venetian streets from Venice and how those came into, and we brought this into this project. When you think of Vegas, you think of the Bellagio fountain, you think of the Grand Canal and the Venetian. I mean, you could be inside and experience a Venetian street, which is truly, a one-of-a-kind experience. And that, if you take that, that's one challenge in itself, but then this was all done on top of the casino. So, there's so many layers that we had to go through in order to create these experiences, but it's always kind of pushing ourselves and looking at what the next challenge is so we could keep continually being innovative. In the mid to late 90s, we moved into the Middle East region. We did several projects, but I'm highlighting the Moving Pick Resort in Dead Sea, Jordan. I've actually stayed in this hotel a month after it opened. And I will tell you, it was only open a month, but when you enter this place, it feels like it's been there for 100 years. The detail, the craftsmanship that was done is incredible. The stonework, they worked with local stone craftsmen to create these walls of the hotel, to have it stepping down, the scale, the proportions, everything that was done on this site, and it is magnificent. You feel like you have just gone back in time. But again, this is something, and also was Jordan's first international standard 5-star resort. And this was back in 1999. So you can imagine, that's 16, 17 years ago that these steps were being taken and how we could keep kind of ratcheting it up and creating something new and really looking at the attention to detail, which I think any more these days, any operators or developers out there, it would be great that, I know time is money, but this taking that little additional time to really think through the design and look at these details, you see that in the long run, you end up getting something that is, I don't want to say iconic, but something that is long-lasting, something that really takes in the tradition and the culture of the place and becomes a symbol of the place in creating a sense of place, which I think that's what we ultimately want with anything that we design. Same year, as Isabel was talking about, the one and only Royal Mirage. This was 1999. I visited this place in 2004. And even till today, it stands, and it is truly breathless. I think we have so many clients that come to us, and they say they want to work with us because of this project. This project, at the time, in 1999, everything in Dubai was becoming streamlined. Contemporary, give us the contemporary lines, give us the wacky, out-of-the-mind thinking. But we were really looking at how we could go back in time, essentially, and really bring in the patterning after the traditional Arabian home and create these smaller spaces and create this experience that is truly one of a kind, and very successful in doing so, because we went against the grain of the contemporary feel and really kind of went back to the old world and see what we could do. And you could see just the details and the simplicity of the design and the timelessness. This still stands today as one of the top hotels in the region. Then moving into 2005, Emirates Palace. Now, Emirates Palace has a whole line of stories, but this has become, a true symbol of Abu Dhabi. Not just because of its size and its scale and its manner, because it is huge. It is enormous. And on so many levels, there were studies about the palaces. We looked at so many different palaces across the world that have been designed, but there's very few that are on a 2-kilometer beach. So and when this was built here, there was nothing. This was at the end of Abu Dhabi. There was nothing around it. So this was the only thing that stood there, 60 meters sticking out of the ground. It's an incredible, incredible piece of architecture. It is one of the most expensive hotels ever built. I think it's number 2. It was number 1. I think now it's moved to number 2. But still, the detail and the level of detail, the scaling, the studying of... We brought specialists in to study scale, proportions, everything for the columns, for all the interior spaces. Sheikh Zayed himself was very, very involved in the design of this space. And on top of that, there's a whole other layer of the unprecedented diplomatic protocol. There is a debate chamber, and this was set up for all the GCC prominent meetings that they would have, summits, so forth and so on. So these spaces were designed that any of the, let's say, the members that were there for any meetings, if there was ever, they would meet in the debate chamber, and if there was ever, let's say, a conflict of some kind where they didn't want to interact, and maybe they just had a bad day, everyone could leave that debate chamber without crossing lines or seeing anybody else that was in that meeting. So you could imagine the hidden corridors, everything that had to be factored, the number of elevators, so they could get from the debate chamber to their rooms. Also, in addition to that, there's basically hidden corridors that would allow for a certain width to allow for Sheikh Zayed to be pushed in his wheelchair and have Sheikh Khalifa and Sheikh Mohammed on each side of him. So you can imagine, these are not public corridors. These are corridors that we don't see. So all of this factoring that they could get around the site in such a huge hotel that was essentially, could be 2 hotels, but was left as one. So this is really created a sense of place. It's been in movies, but it's also not an icon, I want to say, but it's really created a symbol for what Abu Dhabi stands for, and a part of what the GCC stands for. Again, another project that we worked on with Isabel and Wilson. 2008, Atlantis the Palm, we were the architects. Now, you look at this, and if anyone is familiar with Atlantis in the Bahamas, that is, we also did the original Atlantis in the Bahamas. However, you look at it and you go, oh, it's a copy-paste. You just picked it up and put it on the Palm. Well, when you look at it and you see the arch, yes, that is the symbol of Atlantis, and that's the simplicity of it. However, everything beyond that is completely different. The way it's integrated, the way it flows, the experience, the theming. Even though the theming in Atlantis is all based on the water theme, this also, but it's a completely different theme. It's taking into more of the culture and the environment that we have here in the region. Completely different thing. This was essentially Dubai's first truly integrated entertainment resort on a massive, massive scale with tons of detail, and of course, has become one of the most prominent figures at the end of the Palm. 2011, moving into Oman. This project we did full service on. So we did from the beginning, master planning, landscape, architecture, and interiors, all the way through. This project was extremely, extremely detailed. The study, again, culturally, looking at Oman palaces and looking at the cultural sensitivity and looking at how the history of Oman could be brought into creating another symbol of the city and of the country. This project, till today, is one of the it is an astonishing building. It's currently on the Omani currency, which I don't think many architectural firms could say that they have a building they've designed on the country's money. So that we hold in very high honor and very high respect. But in addition to that, another fact is, before this was approved, there was a half-size model built of the entire thing. That's probably, I would say, bigger than this stage. A half-size model built out of plywood in order for them to really experience and understand the scale, the proportion of the whole project so they could get approval. So the detail, the level, it is an extraordinary piece of architecture. And if you could get to Muscat, you could even see it from one of the highways, but it's really, really worth experiencing. Back to the US, Napa Valley, which is wine country. Bardessono is a family that owns this winery, and they wanted to create something very unique in Napa Valley, which basically we did here. Very simple, leaning into the more sustainability, not looking at the cultural and the theming and all that, but also looking at the innovation side of sustainability, LEED Platinum. This essentially, I think there's a little bit of a debate if it's first or second, but it's either first or second hotel that is LEED Platinum in the US, which is also taking that innovation, taking the new ideas to the next level. That is something that's very important to us, and we're very proud of this project. And then heading back to Dubai, the Kempinski, Mall of the Emirates. Now this hotel, we did a complete renovation for architecturally on the exterior, and we also did all the interior rooms and everything. Now when you look at it, yes, it's what's so innovative, it's kind of a typical hotel, I want to say. It's a beautiful hotel, 5-star hotel, but the great thing about it is it's adjacent to Ski Dubai. And what we were tasked to do here is kind of look at almost creating a hotel within a hotel. So what we did was we have about 40 rooms that have a separate entrance on the second floor, a second arrival lobby space that you enter into, and then you go into these rooms and you basically have divided them into one corridor. One side is summer, one side is winter. So if you go in and you go into one of these rooms, you enter the room, it's all Aspen themed. So the winter side, all Aspen themed, Aspen, Colorado. If you're all familiar, ski town. This is what it's all about, skiing and being in a lodge. And I've been there, and when you walk in these rooms, the detail and the level of detail, from the artwork to the flooring to everything on the walls, you feel like you're in a lodge. From the standpoint of, they even dial down the AC to make it cooler, so when you walk in, you feel like you're entering into a colder space. And you even have a crackling fireplace that is an LED fireplace that is working. So on every level, it's there. You open the window, and then you're looking at Ski Dubai. So I mean, when you think about it, the first time I walked in the finished room, I was just blown away, because I said, there's no place that you ever be able to get this type of experience unless you're in the real thing. So the thought and looking at how we could take and build on Ski Dubai and really offer an experience for someone in the GCC or even anywhere else in the world to come to and experience this hotel within a hotel and actually be able to stay in this lodge and look at the ski, I mean, is incredible. I'm very, very impressed with this project. And then you could walk up to the other side of the corridor, you open the door, and then all of a sudden you're in the Bahamas again. You're in a cabana that opens up to a private little patio that opens up to the pool. So you basically you've created summer and you've created winter. The cabana has pitched roofs pitch wooden roofs inside the room. So it's really incredible that you feel that you're not even in a typical flat ceiling space, where you've created this whole other space to really feel that you're in a cabana, in a separate standalone unit, and not in a hotel. So in addition to that, we also did the Aspen Cafe, which is also a whole themed kind of restaurant F&B space that is built on, the walls are all kind of made out of a material that looks like it's ice walls. And as you enter the mall, because it's directly connected to Mall of the Emirates, when you enter, you're going through an ice crystal sculpture that essentially makes you feel like you're entering through the snow into the mall. So the layers and the thought and the technique that was done in this project is really great. So if you're in Dubai and you go here, ask them to show, if you could see one of the rooms. I think it's really worth it, and it's just really great to go in and take a picture. So definitely, or stay there if you can, all the better. And then looking at, this continual kind of innovative thinking and what we could do differently as design professionals, as suppliers, as operators, as developers. It's always about looking at different things and different scales. I think we all have something to offer and something to be creative with, and I think that's what we really, really have to thrive on, because it really excites us as a company. We in 2010, we won an innovation award, so that was very a huge achievement for us. We also, our strategy team, last year, and this is interesting that Colliers was mentioning service departments, we did a study on service departments and the effect that they could bring and the value added, especially service departments, especially branded residential and branded units, and what they bring to the market. So there is definitely a lot that we're always looking at, because as an integrated company, we look at how all our service lines could work together to benefit our designs and our innovation. And then as recently as this year, we won a Freeform design challenge to do a 3D model of a house to a limited size. So that's another thing. So we're all looking at different scales, and we're all looking how we can continue to be creative. And then innovation's coming soon. So there's other projects. We have projects coming in Kazakhstan. We have a project coming here in Doha, and several other places in Europe. And throughout the Middle East. So we're always looking at, how we could keep ratcheting it up, keep pushing the limits, keep challenging our client, keep challenging the operators. We've been doing this a really long time, so we don't assume that we have all the answers, but we are going to keep pushing the envelope and keep pushing the limits to get to something that we could keep saying is something new and innovative. And so I'll end with this image once again. It's all about challenging innovation. And I think that's what we could all offer and we all bring to the table. And I hope that we all continue to do it, whatever we're doing. And a quick note that no children were harmed in the making of this presentation. So, thank you.